Mr. and Mrs. Sanson, according to your complaint, you believe you are entitled to a refund for a vacation home that you rented from the defendant.
Yes, ma'am.
You rented for, I think, a week's period of time?
Yes, ma'am.
And it was located where?
In Hot Springs, Arkansas.
And you were going with either a large family or a large group of friends. How many people were traveling that week?
Well, some of them lived in Hot Springs Village, which is right there.
How many were traveling to Hot Springs?
12.
And how many live in Hot Springs?
5.
And the house that you rented from Mr. Cooksey?
Cooksey, that's correct.
You found online?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have the ad?
No, ma'am.
Do you?
I have pictures of the house, Your Honor.
No, that's not what I asked. I would like to see a picture of the ad that you answered.
I have the rental agreement, Your Honor.
I'd like to see it.
I believe it's the first 3 or 4 pages.
Okay, so you rented the house for 7 nights for 7 adults and 5 children, 12
ma'am.
people, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was the problem that existed, because when you arrived, and on what date did you arrive?
June the 18th, 2016.
And when you arrived, how many people arrived at Mr. Cooksey's house?
5, including me, because we had another rental also in Hot Springs.
So how many people were all together? You had the other rental, and how many were in the other rental property?
There would be 7 was in the other rental property, and 5 arrived with me.
Now, Ms. Sanson, I'm not following, and I want to be perfectly clear.
We had 12 total that had arrived with us, and then 5.
That's not what I asked you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
It's a very, very easy. Your husband is thoroughly aware of what I'm saying. You were traveling with a group, and you were meeting up with a group. You were meeting up with a group of 5 who were relatives who live in Hot Springs, Arkansas. There was another group of 7 who rented another house in Hot Springs, Arkansas. That brings that group, between the 5 who live there and the other 7 people, that's another 12 people, not including your group of 12 that were living in your house. My question to you is, maybe you would like to answer me, Mr. Sanson. How many people were you going to be for that week, seeing each other during the day?
It's 18 plus 5, which would be 23.
18 plus 5, which is 23. What kind of house did the other people rent?
It was a camp house type house that actually was used for a friend of ours has that goes scuba diving in Lake Washita. It rents about 20 people can live in it.
But there were only going to be 5 or 7 people living in that other house?
7.
7. And there were going to be 12 people staying in Mr. Cooksey's house? That's correct. Now, you gave him money and a deposit and damage deposit. How much in total did you give him?
We gave him $3,043.95.
And when you got there, there was some discussion about the number of people that were going to be in the house at any one time.
Yes, ma'am.
And am I correct that Mr. Cooksey's house was the only house that had a swimming pool?
Yes, ma'am.
And there was some discussion about the number of people that were going to be in his house at any one time and using his pool. What was the discussion?
He told me that no one over 12 people could stay there. I told him that we had the 2 other places that people were staying and that we may possibly get together for breakfast and for supper at night, but that at no time would there be over 12 people staying at his house at night. He proceeded to tell me that that was too many people to stay in his house.
Well, how many people did you tell him? Because it took me a long time to get from you the accurate number of people that were going to be. I mean, if you look, who are all these people?
They're my cousins and my uncle.
You were having a big family gathering.
Yes, ma'am.
And you traveled to get there, so that there's no question in my mind that at some point during at least some of those days, all 23 or 24 people were going to be in one place at one time, because otherwise why would we travel all that way to see cousins and uncles? So that's what the discussion was. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, you have this agreement, and it said that in the house there are going to be 7 adults and 5 children.
Yes.
But now Mr. Cooksey finds out on the day that you arrive that probably, at least for several days, there are going to be 24 people in his pool.